got fired from his radio gig.
Oh,
and I
boy.
thought to myself, this really doesn't affect me.
No.
I don't listen to his radio show very often.
Hell
I'm a
with
big
it.
fan of his podcast. And
Fine.
so it was Chad Dukes of the Big O and Dukes show, and he had hosted for the past decade a sports talk show in Washington. And so I started digging in on it. And I didn't say anything last week because nobody really knew what was going on. So he got fired supposedly. The story goes that he got fired for racial comments that he made on his podcast in 2014.
That'll do it.
Yep.
Well, I pulled what they're
Bye, Felicia.
speculating.
Don't you get a good job because that right there was racial?
Yep.
I know. Sorry.
Pulled.
Come on, man.
So we're not supposed to talk about white people anymore?
It's that.
It is. It's the same one.
It's just
We need to cut it.
cut the cord,
it
bud.
out.
It's so easy to talk about white people, though.
Well, the thing is, I did pull, or I guess there's a lot going on as far as whether or not this is actually what got him fired. What it seems to be, there was some dickhead with an axe to grind against Dukes based on probably his opinions of Washington, D.C. sports, which if you're at this point when you have the worst football team in the league and no other sport really matters during COVID. So
Not really.
if you're like that angry
Well,
of,
Wizards, but
when you're sitting at home
Sentinels.
and quarantine and you have to listen to this dumb guy and you're like, I got to figure out a way to get him fired, that you're then going to rifle through a back catalog of shows that have nothing to do with what he's doing and then go after him with that is what it sounds like
But
happened.
there's a lot of that going on, not only in the radio world. I mean, in college basketball. And
They
all
have
over.
like spam, not necessarily spamware, but a software that you can program one word or a section of words, and then it'll run like 40 hours of audio in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it'll pick up for certain words, so then you can go back and just listen. I always wondered how they find that shit.
Well,
algorithm.
I'll read you what
good word.
At
Good
least
word, Eric.
the Washingtonian
algorithm.
the
A lot whiter
Washingtonian.
than I thought you'd be out.
Here on KLIT, it's algorithm.
Thought you'd be algorithm.
So this is what they're saying. They found this episode back in 2014, and this is.
Oh, you're gonna play it?
Oh, I'm not gonna play it because that's the second part of the
We'll
story.
get banned.
They've erased. Motherfucker. Can't even play it.
I don't even know what it's on. There it is.
Oh, maybe it was that one up
Done
there.
got it. You done did it. Well, spill the hot sauce, man.
So anyways, I'll read it to you because in the past 2 weeks, not only was he fired from his radio gig, Chad was, then that next day, the feed on their app and the iTunes and all that stuff, I'm sure they just shut down the feed. Guys can't listen. All the episodes were still up. You just weren't able to listen to them, right? So we're thinking, as fans of that show, me and the other fans of that show, we're all sitting around thinking, well, they'll get that ironed out.
Yeah.
But then, good. Now we can do Big O and Dukes every day. Now we can have the show we want to listen to every day, and let's do that. Well, I don't think that's going to happen. But
Big O and Duke's going to be done too?
It's at least moving forward for a while. But
just Dukes. Big O is fine for now.
Well, he's not really Big O without Dukes.
Oh, no, he's O.
I don't know if there'd be a good. They have that show, That's
the
the
O
Michael
show.
Mara show.
Oh, right.
That's a Big O and Duke show without Dukes. So, yeah, right. This was going on
That's
during.
how I laugh.
I still like it.
This
I don't really
statement was going on during the first time the national anthem kneeling was going on.
Okay.
And if to give some context to Dukes back then, he got super into Corolla for a while.
Oh, boy.
And which happened.
That'll do it.
So what he's commenting
Big
on
Toyota
is
guy.
a social, a social situation. It wasn't even in the context of a joke in this deal. So they're talking about, kneeling during the national anthem, and Duke says, "Now I might get fired from my job by repeating this."
We'll beep it.
I'll quote
Dad,
it. Yeah.
You should be fine.
There are real legitimate concerns that people have that have nothing to do with the fact that they're against people with bad skin tone. There's personal accountability issues, there's family structure issues, there's the fact that communities with more violence and crime need to be policed more so they have higher interactions with police officers. None of that can be spoken about. It's this person killed this person and now we're going to burn the city down. And there's a lot of people that are smart enough to realize that there's a more nuanced conversation, but they're not allowed to talk about it. So what you're talking about is you're like, this is great. We're having a conversation. No, we're not. We're continuing to allow one group to speak and silencing the other one and castigating them.
Okay.
That was the
Casey wrote it down.
I didn't hear anything you said.
I know.
Past
After
that.
you heard bad skin tone, right?
I did not hear one other word you said. Cascading. I heard something like that. Cascading.
Cascading.
Yeah, something.
Castigating.
It did make me think about waterfalls.
It's a great dish soap, though. Cascade.
What's frustrating about this, if you've listened to
Dish powder,
Corolla, if you've listened to even the old Mike O'Mara show before it's gotten a little bit more woke over the past few years.
I would say a lot.
If you listen to old Big O and Dukes, all the people that are like me, fans of that style of radio, all know that these guys have all said jokes in the context of their show that are much worse than even commenting on this.
Right.
And the way he even said it was, he was in the sentence saying that you can't, the bad skin tone was not even what he was, he's not saying that bad skin tone.
I know, but without me hearing the context, if in a joke, I don't care. But me, if he read it as or said it,
well,
I don't know what it is.
Every once in a while, it's coming on. That's a weird deal.
Satellites, man.
It's that one. It's what that is. Every time that.
Satellites in your eyes.
I guess maybe somebody's listening on it. Maybe that's the problem. It's frustrating because this show, that show, Big O and Dukes, more than any other show.
Yeah, that's true.
That was the show that I would listen to. Kind of like, we got Chris in PA says all the time. I don't know how he does it, but he says all the time he'll re-listen to old shows of ours all the time. That's what I did with them.
Right.
And over the past decade, there's nobody that listens to more podcast hours than I do. I got to be right up there. And I was on board with this kind of platform early on, and I would listen to them. I'd rather than listen to a new anything, I would just go back and listen to that all day. I would listen to 12 hours in a row when I'm out doing what I'm doing, because I was lucky enough to have a job that allows, it's a mindless job where you can pump that into your brain all the time. So what sucks the most is, even though Don and Mike has been gone for so long, there's an archive of years. There's an archive that you can still access, and you can still check out the old shows.
Sure.
And same thing, even though Mike O'Mara, that show isn't what it was, at least I don't like it the way it is now compared to what I liked before, but I can still go back and listen to those shows that were older, that I enjoyed that. Well, they've shut it down. Now Big on Dukes, and then they sent back the money to the Reloaded subscribers for this last month, and they finally put a post on Facebook saying,
bye.
At least we don't know what's going on for the future with the show, but at least for now, the doors are closed on the show. And by the way, you can't go back and listen to anything else. I mean, we're shutting that down too.
Okay.
And it's frustrating.
Well, yeah, because people might find more racial stuff like that.
Of course they would.
Yeah,
they'd find,
of course.
Every episode has something, if that's all you're looking for.
And by the way, just a personal thing for me, because I do know some of our fans like the Mike O'Mara show.
Yeah.
He needs to crack down, either him or somebody that's part of the show need to crack down on all the Don and Mike stuff, and then the earlier Mike O'Mara show, and just close the door on that too. Erase them, get rid of them.
Well, that's what I'm.
I know you don't want to hear.
Of course, I don't know if I don't listen to Big O and Dukes like you do, but Mike, at least for me, has came out and called himself out, called their show out on that stuff on numerous episodes.
It doesn't matter.
My thing is, if you said it, you said it.
Yeah, you said it.
I know, but if you woke before you get caught, I think
it doesn't matter.
I don't know. I think they'll come for you.
Eventually, I think he will, but I don't know. He doesn't. They don't have gigs like that.
It's much
They're
like
only that gig. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Listen, how many times have I said I don't stand? How many times have I said I don't stand with the KKK and I'm not a racist? Like a billion, right? But if I didn't say it tonight,
I don't know if you've ever said it.
If I didn't say it
you
tonight,
did say it tonight.
Well, I would say it if I didn't say it tonight, then you wouldn't believe me. And I have to say it like every 15 minutes for you to, because you don't know how I might have just, I just changed. I like him now. Wait a minute. Nope, I don't. Because the thing is,
I don't think that's the case.
That's the case, but
I think if your rhetoric or your complete characterization is around that kind of stuff, or the constant jokes you tell, and then something like that.
But I denounce it, and I've had to denounce those things, in the past.
That would be like denouncing, not me personally, but somebody kitty touching and then go out and kitty touching. Well, just because they've denounced it doesn't mean that,
like in the past,
your actions speak.
So if you kid touched and then you denounced it and then you never kid touched it again, is that okay?
No.
Okay.
What's frustrating about this situation and about similar situations that are like this on the same thing, the cancel culture, whatever it is, I don't think that the person that pulled the trigger on Dukes and sent that in to his boss at CBS and said he's offended by it, I don't think that that person thinks that Chad Dukes is a racist.
Oh,
at all.
No, I think he knew it was enough to cause.
And the sad part is, I don't think anybody that listens to that show or has listened to him over the past decade thinks that he's a racist.
Did he touch kids though?
You may say, well, he's made racial comments, but does that make that's not the same thing? Instead, we start mixing these two things up.
Right.
Where
What
no,
level would that
clearly
be?
you're not a racist.
Would that be like a yellow
on my
3?
scale? Yeah, it's a yellow. It's
But
a yellow.
there's no way I could prove it. I could say it, and I could believe it, and I could live my life.
Well, the sad part about it is it doesn't matter now. Once it's out, once they print it out in the Washington Post, at least in his career,
Sure.
his options are right now. I guess his option is he has a gag order because there's legal matters and all this stuff going on.
Yeah,
and
he
I don't know
does.
who the fuck decided that's a great idea for people. You know, we're sitting around. He makes his living by talking to us. That's how he makes his living.
Right.
And then he's told he can't do it in order to. I mean, they already took your job, bud. I mean, come out and say something. And he's had these little secret messages that he's gotten out in certain ways. But I understand that that's between his lawyers or whatever it is and the radio station. But the fact that it shuts down then the
Everything.
show,
Sure.
the podcast part, is really frustrating. I guess the part that makes me upset the most is Oscar still does Mike's show.
Right.
And they did dance around that Chad got fired, and that's all we're going to say. Literally all. And I don't mind if there's some sort of gag order on even shit you can say about Big O and Dukes. If that's all part of the law, I get it. What you could say is just say, hey, listen, if you're a listener of that show, we're moving forward with something. We're doing something. It is in the process. We are thinking. Instead, it's like he's just separating himself totally from it.
Right.
I mean, won't touch it and gets insulted if you bring it up. It's like, fuck, man.
I know, but like you
Spent
said,
hundreds of dollars and hours of my life listening. You could at least say something.
That's the process. Because
Not Dukes. I'm talking about Oscar.
I understand, but he's tied. He's tied with it because he's tied with both shows, and he's tied with Dukes. What I'm saying is if Dukes is going to fight it in the court of law, right? Or even if he isn't, there might be a gag order from the radio station, or
And
you know
by
what I
the
mean?
way, we don't know anything that's happened. It may have nothing to do with this guy sending in this clip.
Right.
I mean, technically, Dukes could have walked into the radio station and kicked the door down and made some sort of racial joke inside that nobody knows. We just know he got fired for that. That's what they're claiming.
Okay.
So, man, maybe unplug that one. Yeah, it's definitely that one. We don't need it on tonight anyways.
What is it?
It's just for calls, so it should be fine.
Sorry, nobody can call tonight.
Well, let me
Apologize.
see. Make sure that this still works. No, it still works.
Works fine. Thank you for playing that, by the way.
You're welcome.
That'll only be in my head for the next 3 days. Thanks.
Oh, here you go.
Green bean casserole.
You should listen to the whole song. It's really good.
I don't know. Are we happy now,
Touches a
though?
chord.
Does this make people happy? I
That
mean,
he's
he's
gone?
gone. So
Yeah.
it made one guy. I'm sure it made thousands of people that would rather him sit around and talk about more seriously about how to solve Washington, D.C. sports issues and not have whatever kind of personality that he's built on that program. There's probably a lot of people that are happy that that's happened.
Right.
But are you happy that now he's got this label on him moving forward in that industry?
I'm great.
It's like, what the fuck is your problem? Everybody has this. You've been around people. You've been around things. You've been around situations where something bad or something inappropriate has been said. And there's a context to it. There's got to be a context.
Do you see this halo?
His fucking show is about that. It's about the freedom of expression of comedy, of being creative and making this thing every week. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And how he does it, you may not think it's funny, just like how we do it. You may not think it's funny, but we're doing it here. I don't go out of here and then take the same Pooper Brain. I don't take that down to my kid's school and say, hey, I got this fun game for the kids to play called Pooper Brain, which actually probably would be a real fun game. And probably informative.
Yeah.
But we don't do that. We stay in our lane and here. This is our lane. If my mom tunes in and says, you guys are talking about, pleasuring yourself on there, that's gross. Like, gross. Mom, it's not for you. I do a show over here where it's all about pleasure centers, baby. But if you don't want to hear about it, don't tune in. I mean, that's
and burritos.
Well, I guess my only if he had something in his contract with CBS or whoever he was hired with,
CBS
that
Intercom
or whatever permitted some of that stuff, then them parting ways with him there, that's a contract thing. But why? Now, again, if it's the producers of his show or whatever, but why they would pull a podcast that is, I agree with you, like this, a freedom of speech thing,
it's freedom of choice.
You're
That's
not.
what Devo says.
you know, I get his side would be sponsors and all that pulling all of their stuff because that's the natural thing that happens.
Right.
So,
And I don't know how big that show is in the grand scheme of things. I know that it was one of the first to start doing it, and it got a lot of. They have a massive following in DC because it's been on the radio. They have a massive following in Arizona where they were from, and then all of us in the middle of the country we've all stumbled upon them through Mike O'Mara or Don and Mike because they were on the same time.
Right.
They were on in conjunction with each other on WJFK when the Mike O'Mara's radio show was on. So it had all this crossover that brought new listeners to them.
Right.
But since it's been over, the radio show has been over for, a decade.
Yeah, 20 years.
It's just been, I don't know if it's grown or gotten bigger, smaller, I don't know, but it's its own little world. It's its own little thing. And it's frustrating to know that that's going to be, I don't know when it's coming back. And so it just, dude, it'd be
Listen,
like.
I know you got your heart broke, bud.
Dude, I'm telling you.
I know you're pouring your heart out right now, but there's a large part of the country that's just like,
Andy,
take that call.
take that call, bud.
Yeah, it's work. I'm just saying the thing is that's how people look at it. Okay. Now, if they took somebody from something from somebody else, let's say The View got canceled.
Right.
There'd be a lot of disgruntled people. And I'm not just saying women. I'm just saying people that are with The View. If somebody else,
so
but,
women
I mean,
are people now.
I'm just saying that I don't think they would get
Horrible
canceled for the.
lizard-faced people.
Oh, like in your example for The View,
Okay.
right? Couldn't I be offended that Whoopi Goldberg portrayed a Catholic sister and did all the shenanigans she did in Sister Act 1 or 2 or
I
3?
was going to say on Ghost
I
where
would
she
say
played
2
a
was my
psych.
favorite.
Or
psych-
yeah, a ghost is.
Well,
when
she did
this
she did
psychic.
the voodoo juju and the
Yeah.
and the ghost
So
movie.
couldn't it be? I mean, I was pretty offended by Sister Act.
I liked her on Top Gun, but I mean, I'm not
Maybe
gonna
it's mine.
try to get canceled for that. Do you know? I mean, my thing is
My
let's
point is,
say-
what do we do? Let's just cancel it. Why? Why stop? It's the same kind of shit as tearing down statues,
this
as
is
doing all the shit.
Listen,
It's all the same, bud.
this is the time for the little greasy dudes and the little greasy ladies sitting in the basement that still haven't got out of their mom and dad's house.
Yeah.
Okay, to tippity type on the people that called them fat or called them a gross person or offended them. I mean, when you got sportscasters like this happened just in Wichita, Greg Marshall got fired for. Well, we don't know why. There's going to be a seal on that because that's part of him leaving.
Yeah.
But what he probably mouthed off to this guy that started it, which I know he did.
Yeah.
And he was kind of a dick, which he is a kind of a dick. He's a coach, and if you ask stupid questions, you're going to get a stupid answer. Most people would agree with that, or some. I would say me. I would agree with that.
Right.
But he got canceled for that because he went back and started talking to some players and started saying, "Oh, I'll get you some money if you tell me, give me some dirt." And then he wrote this thing, and then it became an investigation, and now we don't have a coach.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, it's the time of the cancel culture. So if you got a vendetta against anybody, bud,
Yeah.
you can do it, and it's easy. And especially when you're somewhat in the public eye, it's super easy. How much stuff that you can go back on this show? How much stuff can you go back at anybody's show? TV.
I mean, you could
TV
just go
coach?
back to last episode.
I
on this show.
understand.
Yeah.
You could go back earlier in this show and get us canceled.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. But if you had a vendetta against us, if we were big enough to have multiple fans, and we reached out and pissed off somebody, and then they wanted to cancel us, they could get us canceled. They could
Well,
just take it off Podbean.
Us
They
would
could-
be pretty hard to get canceled, but yeah,
not really,
because we can bring
no,
our
not
own
really.
platforms. But yeah,
But that
We'll
I
be on
understand.
Parler.
that's
us-
true. We'd be
us-
fine there. We should only be there.
Us shifting gears would be
We
easy.
are on Parler.
Okay, perfect.
Okay,
Thank
us
you.
shifting gears would be easy. But when you're talking about a show that's on somewhere network or has a rapport with multiple people, shifting gears isn't easy. You're going to lose listeners.
Yeah.
Now you can look at the other way that now you're in the limelight. Okay, now you're in the limelight. Everybody's talking about it.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
Or who the fuck is this show? Or
Yeah.
whatever. And then you're going to go back and check it out and maybe enjoy it, maybe not. And by the time you get done with the old episodes, or if you can find them, if they haven't been canceled or shut the door on, then maybe you become a new fan when they come back out. So you can look at it both ways. I know what your problem is. Your problem is they've shut the trap because of the lawyer stuff. So basically, in my mind, what I think is Dukes is fighting it, but in order to fight it, he can't say shit about it.
Right.
And so now everybody's just got to hang on.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to play that racing game, hang on, which is a classic game. I like the Ferrari. But the thing is if he didn't do that, which I agree with you, we've had this talk. If he doesn't do that, fuck you and go under the paywall.
Yeah.
And now you can't be touched. So basically, you're forcing everybody like us that if we want some sort of following, or if we want to try to expand our listeners, we have to do it really organically and either give them a trial period behind a paywall because it's still behind a paywall. Then you can say whatever you want. But this is what I'm saying. As soon as Janet Jackson shows her tit, now all the FCC goes crazy, and we don't have radio anymore, and so everybody goes to internet. Everybody goes online. Well, now you gotta start choking that because there's these horrible people. They must mean what they say. No one knows any comment anymore. I mean, everyone clear up to Chappelle has problems with this, and everybody knows his name.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not going to stop until it does. That's the thing. It's not going to stop until it does. And when it does, I don't know. There's going to be a renaissance of shock jocks again, and we're going to turn the radios back on.
How can it ever stop?
How can it ever stop? When people get tired of the cancel culture. When you start, when you start canceling shit like The View, it'll stop.
Here's the problem. And this is why I don't see it stopping anytime soon, is because even in Dukes' comments that we read from that show, even in him saying just that,
I'm gonna have some candy. Go ahead.
That deal as far as bad skin tone, whatever, or unfortunate skin tone, or whatever he said before, and all that shit, right?
Yeah.
People that are fans of him will then read that like I did, and I read people's comments on his stuff like, man, I can't defend what he's saying. That's the problem. I'm a big fan of Chad Dukes. I'm a big fan of Big O and Dukes. I wanted to come back. I can't defend what he said. Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
That's the part that people are missing.
Right.
Where we know that he's not a racist, right? Everybody agrees. Okay. Or even if you don't. All right? But I think everybody agrees, clearly not a racist. Does he say racist jokes? Maybe. Maybe he has.
Well, that's
I
the
don't
thing.
defend those. Yes, you have to defend all of them. You have to defend the bad ones and the good ones.
I know. I'm with you.
And people don't do that anymore. They separate themselves from it. They say, I don't defend that.
They do because on the bigger stage they have to run and hide. The other way of, if you stand up for it, you lose your job. It's much like you can't go out in Hollywood and say you're voting Republican, and not just Trump, but any kind. I mean, you can have the best Republican candidate ever and say, I'm going to vote for that candidate, man, woman, child, alien, whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah. And
you're going to get blackballed from Hollywood. That's just how it is. There's a lot of people. I tell you what, if you go back and say, and I hate to harp on that, but if you go back and start really looking at some of your big actors and actresses, if they ain't saying nothing political, they're fucking Republican. Because they can't come out. It's much like putting a Pence, a Republican or a Joe Biden sign out in the front. Who's going to get taken down first?
Yeah.
You're going to get poo-poo thrown at the Trump sign, whether or not, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? But that's my own opinion. I mean, I absolutely could be wrong. That's the way I see it. You got to get on the right side. And the right side is whatever the popular, I guess, and when I say popular, the threat of getting canceled.
I just don't know what we're going to be left with in the end.
Nothing, and no free speech.
It will. It'll change as a culture as soon as the ultimate cause of it changes, which is dollar signs, because they get canceled because people bitch about it. Well, people have always bitched about stuff. People used to write in letters to the fucking producers of everything. They go down, knock on the door, and say, "Mr. So and So pissed me off." And they didn't do anything.
Remember when Trump was even running? People were bitching about him saying the grab the pussy. That's in perfect context. He's hanging out with a buddy. It is a way you pick up chicks. You're right. Go on.
But the thing is, that statement one should be protected because it's free speech. Is it gross? Absolutely. I'll sit there and say it's gross. It's not 100% untrue because women do get attracted to power and money.
See, I told you we get canceled at some point.
I mean,
we can do it.
No, what I'm saying is it's men too. I don't want to just throw women under the bus. There's a lot of dudes.
Women can pick up dudes by grabbing their dick.
Well, that, Andy, yes, but what I'm trying to say is anybody can do it. If you want to be around somebody with powerful and money, and you want it so bad, you're kind of open to all kinds of gross stuff.
I was just
like I'm just saying, hey, snort this cocaine for me.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't like cocaine and I don't want to be addicted to it, but I'll do it because I want to be around Ted Danson.
Right.
Thanks, Ted. I guess I'll be around. Hey, go do this interview in blackface. Sure enough, Ted, I will, because he wants to be around Ted Danson. Now, I don't know why it's picked in Ted Danson.
They're getting rid of the people because they get all these worries about sponsorship pulling out. And the reason the sponsorship are threatening to pull out is because they're saying, well, if everybody's pissed off about it, they're not going to buy Tide Pods anymore.
Right.
Because this guy's racist. At
I
some
don't really
point in
buy
time,
'em. I hate 'em.
somebody will say, no, we're not going to cancel whoever. So if you want to boycott crest whitening strips, go right ahead. And sooner or later, they'll realize, oh shit, these people bitch a lot, but they're still going to buy our shit. So no, we'll continue to go ahead and advertise, and people will still stick around.
Right.
It's all just going to follow the money.
But isn't there, to me, isn't the money line? It's got to be kind of split there, or I would even think it probably leans even heavier towards the freedom to express yourself in any way you want. You know, whether it be something that might be offensive to people, like the real money line is right there. You know, I don't think that the money they're always afraid if, if Drew Brees says that he's going to stand for the national anthem, you better fucking back your shit up because we got to sell tickets to Saints games. They're always saying that, like if Drew Brees stands his ground and says, no, I'm going to stand because my grandpa served in the Air Force and I'm going to stand and honor him and I'm not going to back it down, then why are we so scared that if we don't do that, if we don't back it down, that's when we're going to lose our sponsorships? When really, I think we know that at least half the country, if they are...
Yeah, that's just it. People, sooner or later, they'll stop fucking freaking out about it. And they'll realize, oh, shit, we didn't have to fire this guy or girl, and we still have sponsors, and people will still buying shit.
Right.
The problem is nobody's taking that step. What amazes me is that in the professional sports environment, it happens all the time. People are canceled, but then another team picks them up, and a year later, everybody loves them.
It's just like what's
why can't they figure that out in just talk shows, radio, celebrity personalities? People are still going to go back to them.
Yeah, they will.
It's just like what you were saying earlier about Greg Marshall. He'll go get hired.
He will go get hired. He's a great coach. My thing is he'll sit this year out, which is crap.
Yeah.
Anyway, because we got COVID, and he might sit out one more year, but then he'll be coaching for at least $2 or $3 million. Because people say, oh well, he won't get a good job. Bullshit. In sports, it is about winning. Let me go ahead and throw that out there. Everybody doesn't like this. Oh, we got to take care of our people. You don't. You just got to go win. Because, like Eric said, it's money.
Well,
if you go win
if
and
Marshall
you build
went to the Final Four last year or the year before, then this wouldn't even be a topic.
No, I think
because he's been a dick the whole fucking time.
I think it would be.
I don't know. I think
it would
he's stepped the line. He keeps bringing that subject up. I'm a huge Wichita State fan, and I've been uncomfortable watching him for the last 2 or 3 seasons on the sideline. We've had more transfers. Watching that dude like freak out, like other coaches. He's a freak. Like
loved it.
It's just become.
And I'm going to miss him. I'm going to miss him.
I'll miss his recruiting. I'll miss the guy 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 7 years ago. But
I hate to put this in sports talk. I don't think he's recruited. He's recruited okay. I don't think he's the best recruiter, but I think he's a hell of a coach.
Yeah.
He's a hell of a motivator. But that style, it's been written a million times. He could tell you he's read everything about it. That style of coaching is gone, bud. You can't go back to Bobby Knight. That was his style, Bobby Knight. And Coach Marshall,
major dick.
Yeah, he's a major dick. But do you want a dick that goes in there and try
championship and put him as the top coach of all time that used to threaten kids? And that's not cool, though. I mean, there's a difference between that and actually swinging on your players and shit. I mean, some of that stuff just insane.
No, I understand what you're saying. However, the thing is,
I don't think cancel culture got him gone because I think they tried forever to keep him there through all of this.
I think cancel, but you still have to. He's canceled. He's been canceled, so they won.
And by the way, the kid that he punched supposedly is
huge.
A gigantic.
He should have
is
fucking
a grown
punched him
man.
back.
Well, my point is, we act like we say he's hitting kids. Where you imagine
he's hitting a 6-year-old.
He's hitting a 7-foot.
Yeah, he's hitting a 7-foot,
300-pound guy.
Exactly. Right.
And I don't know.
If you're that pissed, turn around and hit him back.
If he's an asshole, he's an asshole. Whatever, I guess. If you want him gone, but they've done that. If he goes and gets hired somewhere else, that's just. I don't understand that. Mark Mangino did the same shit that old Texas A&M coach got fired. Yeah, Leach got fired. Everybody loves Leach.
Well, they fix their lives, man. They get their stuff together.
It's just
incredible. Happened to Martin, happened to all those.
That's all you have
to
say.
I'm just
I
surprised
look at things different.
You go to a different university, like, yeah, we know that he's had some past transgressions, but he went to 2 anger management classes, and he's doing great now.
Yeah, he got a B.
And by the way,
does CBD now, so
by the way, coaching coach should know this. Coaching, you're out there. You're not only with the kids, depending on what age group you're coaching, but you're also with the parents all the way through college. Shit, you're with the parents in the NBA because some of those kids are still 21, 22 years old. So the thing is, you got to appease not only the players, but it's impossible now.
I think
it's
at some
impossible.
point you just lose the team, and I think he had got to that point.
If somebody wants you gone in today's society, you're gone. There's no recourse. You could do everything. You could say everything. You could have all the proof that you didn't do something. Doesn't matter. Once the buzz is out there, once the media puts it out there, and it could be, when I say media, it could be any douchebag off of fucking Twitter or Snapchat. And I could TikTok right now that I got hit by Casey and he'd never coach again.
Yeah.
Now he doesn't believe that. But I could.
Right.
Nobody.
Well,
I'm just a fucking farmer.
You guys making a big deal out of like it's a new thing. This sort of shit's been happening for
forever.
decades.
Yeah,
that's what I'm
the
saying,
difference
man.
was back in the day, if they found a coach was diddling one of the cheerleaders, they would just say he's leaving for personal reasons,
Right.
and that would be it.
That's
there
it.
may be some rumbling out there, but nowadays people say I posted this, and now he's fired. Everybody knows the backstory. Back in the day, it was just one of those. Yeah, I found out he's having sex with minorities. This is the 40s, so it was
A
frowned
little bit of
upon.
thunder from down under that
Yeah.
we're talking about.
Saying now are canceled.
So they just
I'll write
say-
it down.
Well, the guy's got to go.
7:36.
That's all there is to it. And it was end of discussion. And let's not forget the fact, especially going back to celebrities, it just proves that fucking celebrities are a dime a dozen. I know you like the dude, but his boss is probably sitting there going, well, there's 20 other fucking dudes that are almost as good and are
Right.
begging at a chance.
Right.
So,
Well,
heard
as
and,
far as
and-
this,
and the same with coaching. You get to a certain spot where you're making money. It doesn't matter if you're a CEO, a VP. When you get to certain spot making money, it's just part of the fucking gig, man. You
Yeah.
may be gone for bullshit reasons.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you made $20 million over the last 4 years.
Right.
Right.
And but what I'm saying is, in that I don't feel bad. I mean, I feel bad for Marshall. I would have liked him stayed and set a huge school record for the most wins. That'll never ever happen again. Right. I would have liked that. But he's going to go off and he's going to get about the same money. Hell, he might even get more if he sits 2 years out. Somebody will hire him for really good money. So what's it matter? Do you really think the dude's going to change? He could change his hairstyle. He can grow a mustache, all that stuff. He's still going to coach the same.
Yeah.
He might even hit a couple kids. Who knows?
Well,
but
with
he's going to get
Marshall-
hired.
He may or may not say the same, but whoever hires him will view him as a potential liability, and so they'll put up all sorts of operational standard operating procedures to make sure that it won't happen at their school.
No,
So
that's
he
true.
may still do the same thing, but
And
they'll
he'll-
put all sorts of rules on
And
it.
he'll coach 1 year there, and he'll get fired again. But he'll go somewhere else, and he might make a little less money. He could do it. He could do that for the rest of his life, dude. And that's the way it's always happened. He's talking about kid touching. Okay, well, he has to do legal battles or pay the cops off, which is just money. Well, you're fucking making $3 million, so you just pay him off. We talk like as a culture that we actually give a fuck. We don't.
that's the frustrating part.
We don't.
For me, nobody gives a
No
shit.
one gives
that
a shit.
Chad Duke said bad skin
No.
tone. Nobody cares.
No
they
one
want
ca-
him gone.
No
from
one
radio
really
if they don't
cares if
like
a
his
coach touches
sports
kids.
talk.
Touches kids in the shower. It becomes a thing on our show because it's comedy. It's hilarious.
No child left behind.
But the thing is no one actually cares.
Well, I don't
Or
know
do
about-
they? He got fired. I mean, do they
Wait,
care?
You're talking about Sandusky now?
Yeah.
or-
What's old Dusky?
I think he's in
Where's he
prison,
at?
but I think
Oh, is he in prison?
yeah.
But no one really cares
I think they
because
care.
I don't even know.
On
No, I
that
think
one,
they-
They
You
kind
don't-
of care
I
on that
think
one.
that one.
Yeah,
no
they-
one cares.
Okay,
they,
you're-
they
I'm-
only care
I'm good with
because
taking that statue down.
they.
Yeah,
They
I was
all-
there. I was cheering that.
They only care because they want to be on the righteous side. Once the
Well,
battle
on that one, we
once
can
the
draw a
battle's-
line on that
That's
one.
not a
Once
right
the
or wrong
battle's done.
side.
once the battle's done, then they don't care
Put a
anymore.
line on anal sodomy.
Yeah.
I think they still care.
No, they don't.
Yes.
They only care because they found out about it. I'm like, God, that's really bad. Let's do something about that.
No, with
Not
with,
like they-
with
they
kids,
don't-
with kid touching.
I think you're
'Cause it-
wrong.
Let's go back to Sister Act. That was
Okay,
a little bit
yeah,
more
that's-
innocent.
Well,
Yeah.
it's much like Coach Casey's book that he wrote, Ribs of My Anus.
Now,
I thought that was
clearly,
Is That Come.
the only reason I brought any of this up is because it affects my day. Ultimately,
Yeah.
I mean,
Everybody's got to have a chord.
7:39.
I feel upset that I don't get to listen to something that entertained me through
I'm sorry.
my
Well, I'm
job.
sorry,
and
buddy.
that is very frustrating. That's the biggest thing that's going on.
Well, since they have those transcripts, could they re-get them and then like me and Andy can reenact all of the
Yeah.
Big O and Duke show? We'll
For
edit
sure.
obviously the racist jokes out.
Well, don't. That's the point. That's
Well,
my
we'll-
bigger thing. I just
Then
get
we'll do them,
upset
but
that
we'll context them real quick. This is
I know people.
we'll play the sounder. before those.
Yeah, caution.
And then we'll do them.
Okay, do a disclaimer. Yeah, that'd
I
be
think
fine.
I do better O, and he would be Dukes.
That's fine. We could make.
You have a better laugh because you can't hear Andy. He snickers, but you can't hear him laugh very much. He'd be a good Dukes.
I don't know. I think that it's
And he's way more.
as Smoothie's dad likes to say, it's a slippery slope. You
That's
know.
true. Yeah, that's very true. It's very true.
And we've all been saying that. Everybody says that. That's the most frustrating part.
What's that?
Everybody says this is a slippery slope. I guess everybody that I listen to when they are against cancel culture.
Oh yeah.
I'm okay with canceling the pedophiles out. That's okay with me. But I understand your argument.
Well,
on
they got a
that.
teammate- they got a teammate in Mexico.
I'm on that side that yes, we should cancel them. We should do something worse so the shit would
Seem like
stop.
it, but I'm just from an outside.
What I'm saying is
perspective.
no one really gives a shit because no one's really doing anything about it. The only time they do something about it is they catch wind that little Billy got his DD touched.
Now, to be fair to Sandusky, though, if we
And then
can
they're
be
like,
for a
"Oh my
moment,
god, I can't believe he could do that." Really?
he
Can't believe
is
he found
coaching.
it.
He is coaching in prison, though.
Well, yeah, but
there's a
that
lot
team-
of great linebackers
that
in
team
prison.
loves getting touched.
Yes. Which brings up a movie. Maybe Burt Reynolds. Oh, he's dead.
This one is skew. I mean, I
It
got
did.
where you were going.
I was
and then
going on-
This just turned into his personal vendetta against.
Well, he's
people-
upset. He's
he's
mad,
mad
that
about-
Marshall's going.
He,
That's-
and he's
he loves
mad
Greg
about
Marshall.
Fucking
he's
mad
mad about
about that.
Republicans getting ostracized, and he's mad about kitty
I'm not.
touchers getting
No, I'm not.
ostracized.
I mean,
you know?
I just
His
still
three
haven't.
big points.
I haven't heard anybody, say anything different. I mean,
To be fair, we haven't heard much about Sandusky recently, and it's always good to bring it up.
To be fair,
I think so. It is because it's not like kids touching stopped. It's not like, gee, I was a big fan of
But
this
one
coach.
of the
and he,
one of the big offenders is off.
One of the big offenders.
Yeah, one of the big offenders is.
I mean, okay.
Now,
in that
in
small
Mexico's
college
argument,
town,
he
sure,
still is touching pretty much the same age kids.
yes,
I mean,
he's in school
But
touching
not
them,
usually voluntarily though.
but he's not touching them
I
here.
don't know in
Conrad,
prison. I watched Shawshank
He's
Redemption.
not a
Conrad-
big enough. His influence.
He's
is
not
the same
touching
there.
him here. He's touching him here.
It's not the same influence
here.
that he had over.
Not
them
so
as
much
defensive
here.
Coordinator.
Isn't there
But
a
up
big
here,
conspiracy that
the
none of
ear?
that even
he's
happened
not
to?
touching here.
I'm sure there's a conspiracy
More
theory
in
for
here.
everything. So
Well,
yes,
it was a conspiracy until they went to court and they found him guilty.
Oh yeah, because there's about 90% of people in the prison that's saying that the court got theirs wrong
did you
too.
that's
did
all
you
right.
not listen to
Kamala
that little
Harris.
redhead coach that
Those
walked in on him?
prisons are
Did
filled
you not
with
watch
innocent
that?
people.
How could you not believe that?
That guy's a narc.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's
Snitches get stitches.
Yeah.
the best kind of narc.
I'm glad he did it.
Always
Casey,
narc
but
kitty
yeah.
touching. Don't wait 15 years in the future.
I don't know why you guys are turning this on me. I'm just saying
I'm
what
just
everybody else is thinking. No one
No!
no one gives a shit
You're
about all
not.
these kids.
I
touching.
do give a shit about the kid touching. I
Yes.
will.
I mean, I
will say
understand
that.
you can give
and
a
I
shit,
don't think
but no
Republicans
one's
were
doing
ostracized
anything
before
about it.
Trump because there was plenty of. Voight has got gig after gig, and he's been a staunch Republican his entire
He's
life.
not getting Midnight Cowboy anymore though.
Yeah.
He's on Ray Donovan, and nobody's
He's more
watching.
of a reverse cowboy.
By
guy.
the way, it got canceled. So another fucking thing I can't watch.
he gets jobs because he's good,
Yeah.
but he's not on fucking going to Ellen.
He gets jobs because he's the best.
when do we get back on Ted Danson?
What about James Woods? The only thing he's on is fucking Family Guy,
It's true,
which is fine.
which is great.
Yeah.
Which is the best gig he's had.
Yeah, that's true.
Ted Danson, fresh
there's
out
a-
of the
I
shower
mean,
because he's all washed up.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with my show, with my guys, and that's why I open the show with that.
Oh, I
see if he
know.
wants to join
Nothing.
us. Maybe
They're
he
gonna
can zoom
re-
in
they're
and
gonna
do this
retire.
show with us.
What? Do what?
Reach out to him, see if he wants to zoom in. He can be on this show.
Reach out to him and see
Call
if
it
he's
the
doing
Connie
what.
and Duke show.
See what if he's doing the same thing Don's doing. Write a book, and never come back.
I haven't heard about Don hit. At least he just went off.
Oh,
He's
man, I made
George
the-
Bushin, man.
I had made the best joke about Monday Papers with that.
With Don?
Well, with Steve, he said "I'm missing you" or whatever, and I said we'll be back as soon as I get this book ironed out.
Take the
That's a
Geronimo
good joke.
approach.
Why don't you do that on the show? Why don't you be funny on
He
the
just
show?
did. He
I
just
did.
did. it.
Oh,
I
thank you.
that's my one.
This
Thank
is the show still, so it's fine. Speaking of national anthems, and taking a knee at them, and how this whole thing apparently started for Dukes. Have you guys watched?
Old story.
Have you watched much football this year? I don't know how much
No.
football you guys have watched.
Relatively speaking, no. I've watched maybe half a game a
But
week.
this group doesn't normally. I've watched.
Well, he's a big Broncos
He
fan.
hasn't for the last couple of years. He hasn't.
Well,
watched
the
a
Broncos
ton.
suck nowadays, and I don't have any
True.
fucking
Yeah,
time
he's a
to
fair
sit and
weather.
watch football.
He likes them. He wears their gear when they're
I've
winning
got
championships.
kids. I can't fucking watch the game.
Right.
And I got a
Yeah.
wife that goes, hey, I got to run some errands.
Cool.
Either way,
Is it okay? I got to leave the kids here.
You can't even get it on your phone these days. I get it. It's cool.
either way,
Where you going? I'm out.
apparently they're still playing, whether you're watching or not. And I got to watch Monday Night Football for the first time in a long time the other night. And I wrote down
The
a
infamous
couple
game?
a couple impressions. The Jets versus the
Oh. I thought you were talking about last
Whoever they-
Monday.
Jets,
Yeah.
Patriots, right?
Yeah.
Jets Patriots.
Gay!
0-8 Jets versus the 2-5 Patriots.
Fuck yeah,
What's
buddy.
Sounds like a
on.
great game.
Are
Wow.
you ready for some football?
So what's so crazy is
He got canceled
Uh-oh.
I don't
again.
I
Sorry.
don't understand. They're all playing. They're all there now.
We
They
got
in New
bad
York.
skin.
They
It's
don't
funny
have
because
any.
it's true.
No fans right now.
They don't have any
currently.
fans in New York because it's not in that stadium. It's not allowed. If they were at the Chiefs, and there's different rules for each stadium,
Mhm.
which is fine. The problem is during the national anthem. So everybody's on the sidelines. You got
They
good
still
looking,
played the booing over it.
good looking Joe Flacco there.
That'd be
Which, by the way, Joe Flacco and Green is something that we should all discuss. It's about our feelings towards men because I never thought of him as a handsome man, but
He's the ugliest man ever.
no, I think he got neck surgery, bud.
That's true. You get that.
He's got some
He's
sort
got
of
longer
robot.
neck- longer neck?
No, he's got robot facial
It worked
features
for
now.
it worked for Manning. So
I've got no
Well,
respect. Every time I see Joe Flacco, all I think about is him saying, I'm an elite quarterback.
Yeah.
And then he sucks since then. He's the only elite quarterback I know where every time I see him, I go, oh, he's still playing.
the only
Cool.
elite
He's
quarterback
really
you
good.
know with the Super Bowl, like Dilfer.
MVP,
Oh,
man. Super
I
Bowl
don't know. I get the same feel about Philip Rivers.
You're right.
You know what I mean? I get that-
Dare.
What? I still get that feeling.
Lay off Bolo.
Handsome man. He's
Well,
a handsome.
yeah.
Philip Rivers, still handsome.
And a great father,
And he'll kick your
which
teeth
me
in.
and you will.
Sure.
17 kids.
Yeah, a
One
great
of them's
father.
blind.
I bet
Philip-
he doesn't watch much football.
Philip Duggar. So either
But he
way,
watches every game.
But the deaf one, he has also a deaf kid. He stands for the national anthem. I don't know how
Okay,
I feel about that.
I'm glad you brought that up. So this comes on. There's
It's
people.
okay to stand for it. It's just okay to deal
There's
for
people there. I mean, the teams are there. The coaches are there.
Uh-huh.
The physical trainers are there. The water people are there. Everybody's there.
Okay.
So the national anthem comes on. They gotta fucking zoom it, man. They
Who-
zoomed it with like all the
Oh.
different the
Fans?
Marine. No, there was. I think
Oh.
it's because of Veterans Day week. So they
Who are the water people?
the waterheads that hand out water. You know what I'm talking about.
All right. I got
You've
you.
watched football. They
I
got
know,
water. They
I
like
saw that.
drinking water.
Yeah, I got
Those
it.
guys are thirsty as hell. So the big screen
So
comes on.
much
So now
water.
on my screen, I have to watch the big screen, and I'm sure, Joe Flacco is watching him on a screen, watching a
Right.
screen as he's standing there for the national anthem. But they are all standing. So I guess that part's over, at least in
Just
New
certain
York in that
teams.
game.
Weird.
And it's got like a Marine guy singing and a Navy lady singing and somebody from each member of the armed forces
Oh,
is up
okay.
there singing all
I'm from the Coast Guard.
the Coast Guard. I don't know if they made the cut.
And the land
I
of
Patrol.
the free.
I just got frustrated but there's Marines and there's Coast Guard people and Navy people and all in New York.
Waterheads.
And I know what you're saying. Well, we don't want to get them, I don't want to endanger them. They're doing the most dangerous job in the world. I mean, they've signed up as, if we go to war, we're going to go off. I don't think they're scared to come sing in the state. Bring them in the fucking stadium. They can stand 100 yards apart. They can stand on the four corners. Why don't I go watch on the fucking screen?
It's the safety of the players.
Right? Then they're going to go out there and run at 800 mile an hour and give each other concussions.
Right.
It's incredibly weird to watch that, and not as weird as watching the pregame shows, which I don't know if you guys watched Steve Young lately, but
Not looking good.
the concussion fairy has delivered that. Man, that guy's about a fucking spoon in a knife drawer, man.
Soccer.
Jesus Christ.
Did you see that kickoff? He just threw a pass.
They asked him a question. They tried to get big foreheaded Mel Kiper on there.
Oh, yeah.
The college football guy that, always every year, he's much like a political
Pollster.
pundit where
Wrong.
he'll be like, yeah, first pick's going to be this, and he's always wrong. It doesn't matter. It's the greatest job in the world. Predict what-
First pick's usually about the easiest.
Well, you got-
after that,
got 5 teams in college that send 10 people to the pros every year. So just pick starting lineups for those. Obviously, they're going to be the best choices.
Right.
And put them in any order. And if you're wrong, do it again next year. Who gives a shit? We like looking at your
well, I was
slick back
wrong
hair.
here because what happened in the
I didn't know this was going to happen. Mike McCarthy, he's looking for
well, I
playmakers.
found out he
and I was
smoked
thinking,
pot one time when he was 17, and
So
Didn't make the media.
I'm watching this, and they go to Big Dumb Steve Young, and he's sitting there.
Hi.
He's got, I think he's wearing Steve Madden's or Skechers or something, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
And every format is the same. You have the brother that is the host, and he's usually like
Whoa.
chill. I thought we could say brother.
Is that in or out?
Are you
this
talking
week?
about his brother or
Like blood brother? Like
No, I was
the one
thinking
with that unfortunate skin tone?
Ah, you're
the bad
no.
skin tone guy.
Whoa.
Anyway, he's typically the main host, and so it's either a Jimmy or James or something like that.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And then he'll go to some, whether it's on one of them, it's got Strahan, who's kind of the football knowledge guy.
Right.
He's played the game. Then you got the guy that's
Yeah, I
aloof.
really like about sexes.
You got the aloof dude.
Shannon
who is,
Sharp.
No, Bradshaw is on there sometimes.
Oh,
It's
I
the
love
aloof
Bradshaw.
crew.
Football.
And then Gonzalez on that crew is the serious
Tony,
guy.
yeah.
So
Oh man,
you get all
tell me about it, guys. Tell me about it.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
all the same format. Then they'll do shit though where I think Booger McFarlane was on this.
Okay. What's Burger doing, man?
You know, and they're just because maybe it's because the game was so insignificant because it's the 2-5 Patriots versus the Jets that they really had kind of run out of shit to say and they got about 40 minutes to
Tom
fill.
Brady.
And so they
Tom
start
Brady.
going into other stuff that's happening, like this Mel Kiper guy, and saying what's going to go on with this Trevor Lawrence and his recruiting and his.
I mean,
and
he got the COVID. What's going to happen?
Steve Young was like, "Well, man, if you're going to come out of college and you're going to be a first pick, it means you're going to go to a shitty team. That's why I went to Canada. I went to Canada and played. Then
Smart.
I came over
Yeah.
here, man, and everybody's like, what? What the fuck are you talking about, man?"
No.
It's like, well, you do that. Anyways, I think he'll go back to school, and wait.
Well, yeah, you don't want to play for the Jets.
He'll play for the Jets. And they're like, but then he would still come out the next year for a shitty team, bud. I mean,
Not if
Right.
he does really bad.
and
his
you
senior
think that
year.
he's not going to take a $50 million check and come out? And it's like, I just, whatever. I mean,
I'll pass up on the 20 mil.
and
They
then
are
just-
saying that
they
he's
get up
going to
and-
stay because he don't want to play for
I've
the
got
Jets.
20
Not-
mil.
I think there's a lot of crappy teams he would play for, but Jets you kind of go to die is the way people are looking at it right now.
Well, they said that about the Browns, and look
That's
at them.
true. Look,
That's
Mayfield's
true.
doing great. I mean, playing bench, but he's doing good.
Well, he's coming back from the Coves.
Yeah. So, anyways, it's a fun watch. If you guys can ever just spend 20 minutes watching a pregame, it is a fun watch, and you'll usually get some dancing. There's always a
Love
deal
the
where
dancing.
Randy Moss is on there. You got Moss. Yeah, you get to do that, and you watch high schoolers catch footballs. It's a good way to
That's
pass
probably the best segment.
15, 20 minutes. So
They don't do you got jacked up anymore, so
Steve has a great point. Why doesn't Space Force have a singer
they do.
on that halftime show?
He was just up in space.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Oh.
Sound doesn't travel in space.
I see.
this is going to sound inappropriate.
Slower.
And we only got to. It's going to sound a little bit inappropriate, but I'll.
In a probes?
Well,
Are we
I
going back
was-
to kid touching?
try to iron this out for me. I was watching Biden's speech the other day,
Oh.
President-elect Biden. I think it was yesterday's speech when it's like a 20-minute jobber, and I was on YouTube. But the whole time, they have in a picture-in-picture right next to him, they have the interpreter.
That's my favorite part.
But
Mhm.
this guy is going wild.
Yes, they have to. They got to
He's
keep
doing
up.
all this stuff, and he's even putting the inflections on it and stuff like that with the way he's doing it, right?
Right.
Which is great.
That's what Skin Mom does.
I know. My point, why do we need the interpreter for this speech?
The deaf
No clue.
people watching.
But
been waiting to get it
but deaf people can read.
yes,
There's
Braille.
closed captioning.
Well, some of them can't. Some deaf people don't have hands.
What?
No, they have Braille.
But they
I
have
was tr-
eyes.
That's
I was
blind.
trying to think like why are we because it's extremely distracting as somebody that hasn't been smited by God to have to watch this little boy in the picture. I can put a piece of tape over it or something.
Yeah.
But then I still know it's under there.
Shopping
you know?
list. Then you can have the
Like
shopping
it's
list.
kind of like when Sandusky's raping kids. I can shut the door.
Mhm.
It's still raping kids back there, and that's
Right.
basically what this guy's doing. He's pedophilia to my eyes. I know that there's people that can read what he's saying. I know that there is, Casey, and those people are savants and they're and they deserve to hear the speech. They can't hear it though. And then their argument would be like, well, we got to watch Biden because we learn a lot from you say stuff.
Well,
90% of communication. You won't watch Biden at all. You'll watch this guy the whole time.
I do.
So why not just say hearing impaired? We will just put this guy on his own YouTube feed. If you're hearing impaired, click below,
Oh, I got you.
and then he'll just go. There'll be no sound. Put ocean sounds, all kinds of fun stuff.
Right.
You know, why do we got to have it on the same feed? Is what I'm saying.
Well, because
Can't we have different feeds, bud?
bandwidth, man. There's only so much, man.
I think it's.
You
I think
can't pass
we
it out.
fixed
I mean,
that
like
problem.
willy-nilly. I don't think we have. That's why the internet gets slow, man.
If
But
you
it's just all
Personally,
about bandwidth.
I'm for it. I mean, I'm for it.
You're for being hearing impaired?
No, I'm for
Jesus
them having
Christ.
a what are they called?
curse,
A
man.
translator up there.
They're interpreters.
Why?
Interpreter.
Why?
There you go.
Casey, clearly
Why
these
for the 0.0001% of the population do we need one fucking person at every fucking speech?
Because it
Casey-
doesn't bother me.
hey,
Why don't we have
It's not about me.
Why
It's
don't we
about
have
the jobs, Eric.
a Thai, a Hispanic, fucking Zimbabwean up there, all translating to their native tongue? There's more people from Zimbabwe
I agree.
watching that have no idea what
I'm with
anybody's
you.
saying.
I'd watch that speech too.
Oh shit! They're over there sitting in the dirt eating clay.
they got the Zimbabwe bobsled team, bud.
True.
Why do we care?
Why do we care? That's my thing.
Yeah, I'll stop it there. Why do we care?
Wow.
If
Why
there's-
do you care about?
Why do they have to
Wow.
fucking know it right then? Just
see?
pick up the transcript 30 seconds
See?
later.
obviously
You thought I was wrong. I got another partner and not
we can
caring.
we as humans, I'm okay with these less thans living life normally as they can among us. I'm all right with that.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Well, you're nicer than
But
me.
there's nobody doing this, talking on this.
Yeah.
There's nobody we should care less than deaf people. They'll never subscribe,
Yeah,
bud.
they could.
So our show? I disagree.
I disagree.
They tune in for your hats. They want to see your hats every
I'm
time.
just
They follow This American
if you're
Journal.
worried about an offended
Oh, they
I
love
type
this.
out a
And what
I
is that?
type
It's
out a
reading.
I type out a broadcast every
Biden's
week.
speech was they have it printed. He's holding it. Just put it under the fucking Xerox and send it out to the deafies.
But then you don't get the
Okay,
context.
I'm gonna go ahead and
context.
speak for the deaf
If
community
they
right
put
now.
that into their seats
it's,
the way they
uh,
do it. They put when he's
See?
more
Hey,
aggressive
hey.
or
They could also type
Hey.
speaking aggressively.
no.
Go ahead, Skin Man.
That's how
the kid-
closed captioning works.
Yeah, fuck you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Skin
and I'm
Man.
not even gonna interpret what I just said to
Team
you.
Skin Man.
I did.
Isn't it fair? Wouldn't it be just as fair to say, here's Biden's speech. If you can hear, click this one. If you've been deformed for whatever reason,
If you're from Zimbabwe,
What if it's just mentally like you? Where
they
you're
should
just
have
short-
another feed.
They
should
should.
say,
Where you just go to the
yeah,
yeah.
same speech.
Small-minded. Go right here.
I don't know if you should say it small-minded.
Yeah.
There's a lot of smart people from Zimbabwe.
That guy that wore the lion, the dentist.
Yeah. I love that dentist in that movie.
The dentist
Coming
king.
to America.
Yeah. All right. I
I'm
don't
just
know. It's
playing.
just distracting, Casey. I'm trying to watch President Elect. I'm trying to get a feel for what he's got going
It
on,
throws
what
me
his
off
plan
sometimes,
is.
too.
And all I'm doing is watching this dude in a cool Steve Madden shirt, it's all V cut, you see his hairy
Sometimes
chest.
they should use a less impressive. They should just have the hands there doing
No,
it.
do like Mexico does, man. Put the hot chick. Now I'm fine.
Oh,
Get the hot
yeah.
busty chick in
Yeah,
there.
for sure.
Then by the way, gives a shit what she's saying.
Yeah,
No,
doesn't
get
matter.
the greasy homeless dude up
There
there.
are people like there's not a lot of hot chicks that know how to do it. Does
Greasy.
not matter.
Well, again, it's not for you.
We don't care.
I know. I
That
spent
they
fo-
can't understand what he's saying.
I spent 4 years watching Telemundo. I loved it. I miss it.
I always watched it with the people doing the thing.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
Turn the sound down.
Then you can feel it.
So what are you talking? 1930s white gloves?
Casey, I'm not trying to be insulting to the deaf community. Clearly they've had their shortcomings,
What?
obviously. They got a tough enough road to hoe. I get it, man. But don't try to take the hearing unimpaired and don't
Right.
try to ruin our experience, Did a deaf person build YouTube? Mm-mm. Nope, somebody that loves sounds did. All right?
Yeah.
Get your deaf shit off here.
What's that
Go to-
thing? What's the thing that people
YouTube's
make
more about
money?
video, but okay.
That make money doing the sounds?
From Airplane?
No, I mean on YouTube. The
Love that movie.
Asmar
Oh,
disease. Yeah. What are all of those people doing? I mean, how do they make a living? There's a lot of deaf people out there. They can't hear the noises they
How
make.
many deaf people are out there?
That's my fucking point.
There's over 5,000.
There's 4. 2 of them in North Dakota.
Most of them can read lips at this point,
They're-
can't you?
I mean, there's all sorts of ways they can fucking do it. And why do
We
they
just put
care
big lips.
that much about that small population? If they care so much, why don't they do it like a translator thing when somebody speaking
Let's not
over
bring in transgenders.
Yeah.
in Mexico where you say, "Hi, Eric here. Thank you for having me," and then I have to pause because Shannon has to translate, and then I go on. Why don't they just do that for fucking everything?
El Eric Buckbone.
This speech
2.2% of the population.
Bullshit.
Michael Jordan El Dunk.
That's some liberal
That's COVID
stats.
numbers.
2.2 out of 1,000. There's
Are what?
at
Hearing
least
impaired?
approximately 600,000 people.
Are hearing impaired?
How
Or
many-
deaf?
No, I'm
A
reading.
lot of those have died from COVID, though.
Yes.
Pre-existing
Well,
conditions.
what'd you Google,
cut
man?
Half that. So only 300,000.
Deaf population in the U.S. in 2019.
They're more susceptible for the COVID diseases. We
But
know
how
that.
many jackasses are like me? And when they did the thing, I'm deaf. Yep.
Yep.
Let's
I
see if this
can't-
ever turns
Sure
out.
enough, I'm deaf.
Deaf, you know it.
You giving me an option to be deaf? Fuck yeah. Boom.
You see these threads? Of course I am.
Send this to your number
11 million
counters.
are considered hearing impaired.
Uh-huh.
And how many are deaf?
I'm trying to get there.
You already said 2%.
Well,
man.
this one says higher. According to 2011 American Community Survey, about 3.6% of the U.S. population, or 11 million individuals, consider themselves to be deaf or have serious difficulties hearing.
Obama called
Oh.
them.
That's not deaf.
Well, that was the 2.2 number. 3.6 is where is a different number.
2.2%?
There's more people. There's more than 2.2% that watch Def Comedy Jam.
For sure.
I'll get back to me.
You get the stats right. Stats gal get it. So, I don't know. I mean, you can watch Monday Night Football. They didn't have any interpreters on there, but if you really want to have fun, just turn on one of those speeches with a picture-in-picture box,
For sure.
and then start commenting.
I've always wondered why they don't have the interpreters at like the Olympics, like long jump. Have the small person. You know what I mean? Give the scores because they don't know.
Yeah, baby.
0.22.
Thank you.
What is it? 0.22%? Oh,
That's
what are we doing then? You're right, Eric.
Yeah.
That's
These people
a lot.
barely exist.
2.2 to
Oh.
3.6 report being hearing impaired.
Turn
or
the
having
fucking
serious
TV up.
Hearing troubles.
Or read.
And they don't know sign language. Because if they're hearing impaired, they have a hearing
True.
aid or they don't hear. Nobody's going to spend 10 years because, what's that? Speak. Oh, you know what? I'll go to school for 8 years to learn sign language. That way you don't have to speak up.
No, that's not true. A lot of kids are learning it.
That's true.
Yeah, my kids learned it. Oh, yeah, they know 4 words.
Yep. That's all you need.
And hearing impaired, on average, make less money. So I want to hear people fight for their rights.
Oh, really?
They'd like to hear people fight for their rights too, but they can't because they're hearing impaired.
It's true. They can't hear it. They can read signs though.
Well, Casey, we can't make fun of pedophilia victims. We can't make fun of black
hell
people.
we
We
can't.
can't make fun of. What are we left with? How many deaf people are black? None. They're all white people.
0. That's why we don't care about them.
Again, not true. But
I think that cultures take care of it. You know what I'm saying?
As a BLM member, I can honestly say I don't give a fuck about deaf people. So none of the deaf people are black like me. So later, or person of color.
We do have a special.
you want to end a movement like that, get him involved.
You
You have
wanna-
him come forward as one of the organizers for BLM. Fucking
I am.
done the next day.
Sean's my brother,
Okay.
which is
We
not
have
a
a
lie.
special game for you guys tonight,
Yeah.
and everybody gets to play.
Oh, I hope everybody's listening. 'Cause this is-
I'll give you a preview of it, then we'll switch it over to the Patreon. All right.
I didn't participate this week. If we're talking about
It's
last
game
week.
time now on KLIT with cash for you and me. We stole this game from Don and Mike. It's White Trash Jeopardy.
yeah.
So we're gonna be playing White Trash Jeopardy on the bonus show. I'll give you guys a taste of what the board looks like in some of our categories here. That way, you'll maybe want to tune in to our Patreon show and check out White Trash Jeopardy. Let's see here. There's 4 categories.
Conrad, he's diver down. I think that's what he's saying. Diver down. Diver.
Let's see.
Diver down. That's what he's saying.
So there'll be
Same.
1, 2, 3,
Sup, dog.
4.
How you doing? How you doing?
How you doing?
Whatever he's saying, it's
I
serious.
think your boo boo stank.
I don't think that's what he's saying.
Your categories for White Trash Jeopardy are:
Do I need a pen and paper?
Do we have a guest?
we will have a guest.
Okay.
President-elect Joe Biden will be joining us in the bonus show for White Trash Jeopardy.
Wow.
Categories are: let's talk about sex.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
I'll
What-
be there too.
What is Tiger Woods eating?
I won.
Which mom car is this? And who's faster? Which was my favorite category. So please, if you don't have it already, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/those guys from Wichita, or you can go to thoseguysfromwichita.com. There's a Patreon link in the top right. Click it. You can go over to Patreon. It's $2.99 a month, and we'll do another hour of the show for you there. And White Trash Jeopardy. You want me to give you one taste? Here, we'll Eric, out of those categories, let's talk about sex. What is Tiger Woods eating?
Now, are you doing 200 down? What does it start? 100
100 to
1,000?
500.
Oh, 1 to 5. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Which mom car is this, and who's faster? This will be our tease.
Who's faster intrigues me.
Okay, who's faster for
That's 200.
Ooh.
Lion or Honda Elsinore 250? Who's faster?
That would be the Honda Elsinore 250.
We're not in the form of a question.
Ding, you're right. He got one right there.
What? I
I
mean,
should have told him. Then you guys all know.
penalty.
I'll have to have another
He
question.
didn't say it in the form of a question.
He didn't ask me a question.
He did.
Oh, he did ask.
He says
No,
a
he's
statement.
supposed to give
You
an-
answer in the form of a question.
What is a Honda
What is a Honda?
Elsinore 250?
He's
That's-
king
This
of
is a
France.
practice round. This is
Okay,
a practice
okay.
round.
Everybody
I'm
should
glad
know
I
the
got it.
rules.
Go ahead, Casey.
What? I didn't even hear the question.
What is Tiger Woods eating? Which mom car is this? Who's faster? Let's talk about
Well,
sex.
obviously, you know I'm going with what's Tiger Woods eating.
4.
For
100.
That's what is a hooker?
this cylinder-shaped food is often dipped in ketchup.
Can I buzz in?
Beep. What is a hot dog?
Eric.
What is a corn dog?
Ding.
Skin Man.
What is a French fry?
Ding.
That's a cylinder?
That's a cylinder?
Shoestring fries, baby. That's what
Hey,
Tiger
baby.
Woods is eating.
We
That's
got
what- He knows that.
Winner, Skin Man.
You could have also won with fajita. More on this moving forward. All right. Let's get our carp in the tub and get out of here. So if you want to listen to low budget Jeopardy, White Trash Jeopardy,
Thank you.
we stole low budget Jeopardy from Don and Mike.
We'll
Tune
see
into
how
our
it
Patreon
goes.
show.
We'll see how. Yes, you all have to buzz in, and yes, it has to be in the form of a question. If it's not, you get penalized. And I think everybody should play for $5, so we can give you back the money. Whoever
At
wins.
Conklin Cars, we believe you should get your car your way.
Love that guy.
This episode's been sponsored by Conklin Cars, at least until they get the transcripts from it.
You can choose from 8 different.
And if Conklin Cars gets transmission.
Is a fish that will eat anything.
Don't let your meatloaf.
just as
See you on
long
Patreon.
as That thing is edible.
Edible.
It will even eat things such as dirt, mud, and trash. And